Hello, and welcome to another edition of MarkLogic DemoCast, where we demonstrate a compelling feature or customer use case of the MarkLogic platform. In this DemoCast, we'll show you a key differentiator of the MarkLogic platform, the ability to quickly and easily ingest data from multiple disparate data sources that may also have a variety of differing data structures. Once ingested, I'll show you how these data records can be easily searched with MarkLogic's integrated search engine. This includes faceted searches based on terms pulled from the ingested records. For our demo scenario, we'll be using 3 data sources that contain healthcare-related data. These include an RSS feed of medical news headlines, a comma-separated variable or CSV file containing medical claim records, and a relational database containing customer member profile data. Even though medical records may be outside of your domain of interest, I'd like for you to focus on 3 things during this demo. Number 1, MarkLogic's ability to quickly and easily ingest data from any source of any structure. Number 2, MarkLogic's integrated enterprise search engine. And number 3, no data modeling, common schema, or transformations were necessary to ingest data from these disparate data sources. Ask yourself now, how long would this take you today? Do you need to do extensive data modeling so your data conforms to a consistent data model? Or how long does it take you to ingest new data feeds and integrate them with data already in the system? And finally, how easy is it to find and correlate data from different data sources throughout your enterprise? Now on to the demo. We've created this simple user interface to help demonstrate some of the features of ingesting data and also searching for the results. First, let's verify that the database is empty. We see no search results. We can see our data sources, our medical feeds, our news feeds, our claim records and members are all empty. Now let's load the RSS feed from Medical News Today. Medical News Today provides RSS feeds of medical news headlines. You can see topics from acid reflux, allergies, so on and so forth. If we look at one of the files, we can see that the source data is in XML format. Now let's load the data. We now have the RSS feed loaded. Let's verify that it's been loaded. We can see that we've loaded over 3,000 XML documents from the RSS feed containing news headlines. Let's go ahead and see our search. We can now see that search results are being returned and they've been categorized by facets. We can see our news feed is one of the sources that have been entered. We can also see facets for the different categories from the news feed. For example, if I click on Cancer and Oncology, I can see news feeds related to that ailment. And if I click on a particular link, I can see that original source document that was pulled from the RSS feed. Now let's load the anonymous patient claim record data from our CSV file. The CSV file could be from Excel or exported from another database. Each row will end up being another document in MarkLogic. Let's load the data. Now let's verify that the data was indeed loaded. 20,000 patient claim records were loaded. Let's see how that looks in our search screen. We can see that the patient claim data now shows up in our source facet as well as the feeds. We can still see our categorizations from the news feed, and now we see new facets for member ID and drug. If I search on diabetes, I can see that it indeed shows up in both my claims and my news feeds. It might be helpful for me to know the latest medical headlines related to the claim I'm reviewing. Finally, let's drill into one of those claims. I can see the raw claim information that includes the member ID, some basic demographics, and a lot of detail about the claim. What I'm still missing is the member profile information that might help me contact and understand where the individual is located. For this, we'll load our final data set from our relational database. But first, let's do a quick recap of where we are in the demo scenario. So far, we have ingested two of our three data sources, the RSS feed from Medical News Today, the CSV file that contained anonymized member claim data, and finally, we are about to ingest the personal information for each one of our member IDs. Remember, prior to ingesting any of this data, we were not required to create a schema, do any data modeling, or create ETL or transformation scripts. This can be of significant business value, saving many months during the development life cycle, as well as potentially even more savings after production during the normal maintenance and enhancement life cycle. Now let's load our final data set, our member data, that is stored in a MySQL relational database. The member data can be correlated by member ID with our claims data that we've already ingested. We're also pulling in geocode information from our relational database. This will allow us to use a map widget on our user interface. Let's go ahead and pull in the data. Now we'll verify that we have loaded our new data. We can see that we've loaded 9 records from our MySQL database. Now let's go to search, and we can see that we've got a new source facet. We've got our categories, we've got our member IDs as before. Let's look at one of our members. We'll pick the first one. We can now see that our member information is now being displayed along with our claim information, in this case Bob Barker, his address, and geolocation. We can even see that the geolocation has been plotted on our map widget, making it very easy for our claims processor to see exactly where this member is located. In addition, we saw that we could easily search across all of our ingested data sets using MarkLogic's integrated search engine. Hundreds of customers have achieved significant business value by building mission-critical Tier 1 applications on MarkLogic. Here are just a few examples of customers that have turned to MarkLogic to significantly reduce complexity, risk, and cost. Healthcare.gov turned to MarkLogic to solve data integration issues on a massive scale. A large financial services firm trades upwards of $1 trillion worth of derivatives through our system on any given day. Warner Brothers built its first production application in just 8 weeks, helping to consolidate 4 separate systems. The BBC served up to 2.8 petabytes of data to 55 million users during the 2012 Olympic broadcast. Thank you for your time today. Please look for other MarkLogic DemoCasts, which will highlight another compelling feature of the MarkLogic platform.